Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, Troy. Can everybody hear me?
No, you're good.
Thumbs up.
We're good.
Awesome. I got this weird pop-up about the meeting being recorded. Apparently now you have to give permission, so I'll do
okay.
that.
Oh,
Well, welcome everybody to Muskegon Rotary. Good to see your smiling faces. Happy Thursday. I'll start out with a quote today. Oh, I'm Mark Myers, by the way, your president, at least for another month, for any of those who don't know me. I'll start out with a quote today. I got this one from Mike Vogus. Yesterday is the past, tomorrow's the future, but today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
Oh,
Bill Keene. You would have thought I had gotten that from Rabbi Alpert, but I got that from Mike Vogus. And with that, we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join me if you can see the flag here in the background. I pledge allegiance to
to the
the
flag
flag of the United States
States
of America.
and to the republic
Republic
which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
and
liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Thank you. And speaking of Rabbi Allen, Rabbi, you have the invocation today.
Right, but I think before, I don't know if Jim Fisher is on. Today is Fran Fisher, his mother's 100th birthday. And I have a short poem and but I was wondering maybe if Jim is there, if he can say something about his mom.
I don't think he's on yet.
All right, well then I will go and maybe sometime at later on. I was inspired by the sound of music. It was panned by some critics as being too sweet, but I think it has endured for over 50 years, and I think it is appropriate. Again, today is the 100th birthday of Frances Fran Fisher. How do you describe a person like Fran Fisher? How do you catch a cloud and pin it down? How do you find the words to describe her? How do you hold a moonbeam in your hand? She is one of the diamonds in our presence, shines with the brilliance of the sun, shares with us a job well done, and inspiration to us all. As a person, as a wife, mother, relative, friend, community leader, educator, philanthropist, we dedicate this invocation to her, and we dedicate as an example of the four-way test to her. Of the things that we say or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will build goodwill and better bridges? Will be beneficial to all concerned? And with that, with the example of her life, it is a wonderful blessing upon all of us, whether you knew her when she was at Muskegon Public Schools, or you saw her at Hackley Library or the Museum of Art. She serves as an inspiration to all of us. And if Jim is on, is he on?
I don't
guess
think so. No.
Okay, so that if we can, then in whatever ways that we remember her in the past and today, wishing her a very happy 100th.
All right. Thank you, Alan, and congrats to Fran. And we'll catch up with Jim. He'll really appreciate that honor. With that, we have visiting Rotarians and guests. If we have any visiting Rotarians or guests, feel free to unmute, introduce yourselves or introduce your guest. And I believe John Knowling has a guest.
I have Kendall Smith, a salutatorian of the Reese Puffer 2021 graduating class. Also happens to be president of our yet to be chartered, by the way, Interact Club at Reese Puffer. active in National Honor Society as president. He's really left a great legacy of his 4 years at Reese Puffer, heading to Lake Superior State in the fall, study science. He has been an active leader in our community. He attended the Life Leadership Conference, and we are beholden to Kendall for his efforts. And he'd like to just give a quick cameo report, President Mark, on successes, ups and downs of the year at Interact.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
I hope he's coming through.
Yeah, so I guess to touch on
say, Kendall.
how our Interact Club went this year. at Reese
Kendall,
Puffer.
not to interrupt, but can you turn your
yes.
video off? So we're having a hard time hearing your audio. Try that.
How's it now?
Better.
Perfect. All right. Well, yeah, thank you, John. So I guess, yeah, to talk about Reese Puffer's Interact Club this year. So obviously, like you guys have all had to deal with yourself, we faced many Zoom meetings to start until we got to be face-to-face around January. But during that time, we did our very best to keep, leaving an impact within our school and our community. We took on many great projects this year. I guess two highlights for me was one, we were, even during those Zoom meetings, we were able to color kids' food basket lunch bags, decorate those and donate those. And our biggest, which was definitely my favorite, was the Hometown Heroes project that Muskegon Rotary Club played a huge part in contributing to. That was awesome. Between us and North Muskegon and Mona Shores, we donated 315 bags to several frontline worker organizations and nursing homes. That was a great project for us that I look forward to hopefully seeing continue in the future, because I think even while COVID has presented itself as highlighting front workers is important, they're always important. So I'd love to see that continue. But yeah, in the short time that our club has been around, we have made a large impact in our school. If you can kind of respect it, I'm really looking forward to our club getting officially chartered by the Muskegon Rotary Club. I'm really excited to see how the club progresses. We just named our new president, Sonia Schmidt, here. But like I said, really thankful for you guys and helping our club get some feet to it, and excited to see where it goes in the years to come.
All right. Well, welcome, Kendall. Let's give Kendall a round of applause. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you for your leadership. Any other visiting Rotarians or guests?
I have a guest, Mark.
Yes, Mike.
Meggie Kukuski is a guest today, and her application was submitted today as well. Welcome, Meggie.
Awesome. Welcome. And looking forward to have you join. That's fantastic. All right. Any other visiting Rotarians or guests? All right. I'm not seeing anyone or hearing anyone. Next, we move on to birthdays. We have one birthday, Martin Asplund, on the 7th. So happy birthday, Martin. And with that, we'll move on to announcements. Rewind meets tonight at 5:15 at Wonderland Distillery. So if you can join them, they're going to have fantastic weather. Seaway Run, the deadline to sign up is the 14th. So if you're considering it, please sign up. It's a big fundraiser for Rotary and for the Y, as you know. And if you're not a runner, they do have a 5K walk. So also, I want to add, we need volunteers from Rotary for the spirit stations. And Kim can be contacted, Kim Borsma, our club coordinator. If you could put your email in the chat, Kim.
Will do.
That would be helpful. Thank you. Also want to mention, please consider giving to the Rotary Foundation by June 30 if you're considering a gift. They'd like to get it in by their fiscal year end. Also, I'll mention Kim is working on a new directory. Seems like we just finished a directory, but she needs any changes from you, and you can also make those changes in Club Runner, but she's happy to do that for you. If you can email any changes of address or phone number and whatnot. Next, going to move on to Mike Vogus, who has an exciting announcement. Mike?
Myself and a team of folks have crafted a digital communication method, and we now have a Microsoft OneDrive storage account and a YouTube channel. Thank you, Howard Hardesty, Kim Borsma, and Jason Piasecki. We can now archive photographs in a way that we could not before for all kinds of projects. I will ask you to send photos you would like archived for Rotary Media projects to me. I'll let you know when my Rotary email is up and running because I do not want the photos sent to my business email account, please. We can create some wonderful programs if you document your project with good photos, and I will share that Rotary email with you just as soon as it is functional. Thank you kindly.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike, and thanks to all who put that together. Check it out. We just have a couple of videos up now, but pretty soon we'll have that populated with some really good Rotary stuff. So, Arn Bozart, you are on, and I know we have a food truck coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, good morning, Mark, and
Morning.
everyone, or good afternoon, rather. We do have a food truck up in Whitehall, and we're in good shape, it appears. We have 4 Muskegon Rotarians who have volunteered to participate in the truck, and you will recall that the Whitehall trucks are a partnership with the Whitehall Montague Rotary. Excuse me, and we have 8 or more volunteers from Whitehall Montague lined up. So I think we'll have a good turnout. If there is anyone up in the Whitehall area who has special interest or passion for food trucks for that area, feel free to stop out. Volunteers are asked to arrive at about 9:15 a.m. to assist with the setup, and food distribution will begin at 10 a.m. We should be finished by about 11:30. We have had some difficulty getting turnout up in the Whitehall Montague area, so if any Rotarians are connected with organizations or community networks up in the Whitehall Montague area, I'd ask you to help spread the word and just let people know there will be a truck available with fresh food this coming Saturday. That's it.
Right. Thank you, Arn. Any other announcements from the floor?
Yes, Mark, it's Joni.
Jessica.
I have an announcement, if that's okay.
You bet.
It's tomorrow that the concert by David Schock and the River Rogues at Muskegon Heights Academy will be at 3:30. And anyone who can show up to support firing up the Tiger Band as they rebuild is very welcome. 3:30, you should go to the north side parking lot, which is close to the football field. It's the back half behind the school. And the school is across from Temple Methodist at 2441 Sanford. 3:30 tomorrow. Love to see anybody that can be there. And if you would like to contribute to the rebuilding of the band and instruments, you can go to the website for the Academy, and there's a link with the Community Foundation where you could contribute. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thanks, Joni. And thanks for your personal effort to get that band back together. Appreciate that. Doug Wood, did I see your hand up?
You did. I would like to share that we had some technical difficulties yesterday morning with our onboarding orientation intro to Rotary 101 session. So we have rescheduled the June session till next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Any new members or prospective members or even current members who would like to join us in that discussion next Wednesday at 8 o'clock, let Kim or Kathy know, and we'll make sure you get the Zoom link. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Doug. Any other announcements? All right. I've got kudos today. I want to give kudos to John and Sue Noling and also our guest, Kendall Smith. for putting out flags during Memorial Day along and within the Seaway Drive median. So thank you so much for that work. It's important. It looks beautiful, makes us all feel good, and certainly appreciate the effort. And then there's an ask, because Flag Day is coming up on June 14. So if you are willing and able and available to put flags up and down that day, please contact John. All right, moving on. Kathy Moore, are you in the house? And do you have a COVID update for us? Things are opening up.
Yes, things are
and
opening
I
up.
feel a change in the air. What can you tell us?
I can say I do. I don't know, Kim, if you have that presentation.
Do you have
We're
it?
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to go through this just really quickly. Our numbers continue to go down. We are headed in the right direction. What we don't know if there's a natural resurge. We don't know that just yet, but we're going to continue to hope for the best. Next. Our positivity rate. So the state rate records us at 9.1 as of now. We've been checking into why our numbers are so different from contiguous counties. Our actual raw data shows that our positivity percentage is 6.9. Still waiting to hear from the state epidemiologists why their published number is different. We believe that they continue to put the 2 prison systems cases into our community data, and historically, that's not supposed to happen. Only Muskegon County residents, non-confined, should be in our community rate. Contiguous county. So, you know, the good news is this week, our number of daily cases averaging 12 per day. Last week, we were looking at almost 43 per day. 2 weeks ago, 55. So really making a positive difference here. So thanks to everyone. Next. Vaccination coverage, and this does not include like federal numbers because the VA actually administered quite a few vaccines as well. Our coverage to date, 54.3%, and that's just through May 30th. I guess maybe the holiday has caused some delay in updating that on the state level. The females, of course, vaccinate the males with 58% of eligible females in Muskegon County vaccinated, and well, first dose, and 50.6% of men. The percentage of vaccination coverage by age group continues to grow. Very, very happy to see that age 16 through 19 actually surpassing the 20 through 29. So, you know, maybe it is the bars. Maybe that's our next step, is to go out to the bars or the beaches or something, but making amazing progress there as well. Next. Hospitalization. So again, the numbers at the top, the state did not have an updated statewide or regional number, but the chart at the bottom shows the Mercy Health numbers, which is our only hospital here in Muskegon County, continue to decline at a very manageable number. And of course, we'd like to see that go down more. But the hospitalization rates and the death rates trail behind the community rates. So next week, this time, if it follows our community rate, it should be cut in half. Next. The number of deaths. So we were surprised to see 4 additional deaths over the last 4 to 5 days. And those, well, all of those deaths, all 4 of those were nursing homes or long-term care facilities. What we did see was a reinfection, or, you know, a number of new cases among the long-term care facilities and nursing homes. And mostly due to the low percentage of employees that elected to be vaccinated. They were in the 26 to 30 percentile range. And I believe that's it, but let's see what's next. Yep, that is it. That concludes my report.
Right. Thank you so much, Kathy. Do you have time to stick around for a
Absolutely.
breakout at the end?
Yes, I do.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks so much.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it just feels like we're turning a corner here. So
Yes.
hoping for the best.
Mhm.
Christine Robert, do you have a report for us today?
Just a quick update, just a reminder, please support public health, and if you can get people to set up a vaccine clinic, it would be awesome. Getting people to that age group, those 20 and 30-year-olds particularly, that we're having a hard time reaching. This week we launched a summer stock up. Kellogg's Corporation reached out to us statewide with United Ways to help fill the food pantries. One of the concerns was to make sure that often during this time, we usually have the letter carriers food drive, and the Boy Scouts usually do a collection. So we're trying to make sure pantries have what they need to get through the summertime. And so the summer stock up is all about that, and Kellogg's is supporting that effort. If you want to be a partner in giving, we're asking people to give cash to that fund, just so that we can buy exactly what the pantries need for families and support that effort. You can go to our website, unitedwaylakeshore.org, and right on the front page is Summer Stock Up, and there's a donate button there to make a gift. Just wanted to point that out, and I think that runs through the month of June. And then the other thing is just a good reminder to call 211 and encourage people to use 211 for any need to get connected to services. I can't stress that enough. There's a lot of mental health need in the community, and I think sometimes people, if they know there's an anonymous line they can call and talk through what the problem is and get connected to a service, that sometimes they're more comfortable doing that than talking with others. So encourage people to use that line to get help. And then lastly, I just came from the new Y Goodwill Early Learning Center in downtown Muskegon, and it's opening on the 10th. So that's pretty exciting. And right now, I think they have 14 children enrolled in the program, and they can take up to 72. So if you know families that are looking for childcare, they have it's all brand new inside. So it's at their former McLaughlin Elementary School, and it is absolutely beautiful. There is Foam Core has put all new items in there, small rollover, and all new cribs. It's just a beautiful space, and they open officially on the 10th. So it's a great, downtown Muskegon is a daycare desert, so it's wonderful. The Community Foundation, United Way, and several other partners were involved in making sure to get the startup funds. The city of Muskegon has been essential in getting the startup funds for that center to happen. So check it out. And if you have staff that need childcare, definitely check it out. That's my report.
Awesome. Thanks, Christine. And yeah, that is exciting, that service. It's been a few years in coming. And remember our discussions at United Way board meetings about that. So, all right, we've got a couple more items of business before our program. We have 2 Paul Harris Awards to give out today. And Mike Vogus, let's roll the tape on that, please.
It is my pleasure, not only as a personal friend, but on behalf of the Muskegon Rotary Club, to recognize one of our own for Paul Harris +1 for the amazing hard work she has done in the past, as well as managing Hackley Community Care during this crazy pandemic. Yes, I'm talking about my friend and our friend, Linda Juarez, CEO, who has served in her current position at Hackley Community Care for over 30 years and facilitated securing its 330 grant funds and a federally qualified health care center status. Under Linda's leadership, Hackley Community Care is offering an expanded range of services, including community care pharmacy, behavioral health, maternal infant health, grandparents raising grandchildren, school-based health in several school districts, OBGYN nurse, midwifery, breast and cervical care, cancer screening, mental health, and dental services. Linda has been instrumental in the successive growth of the health center, and today she oversees a staff of 283. And the health center continues to serve the underserved population in Muskegon County, providing services to over 18,000 patients. She holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in pre-law from Michigan State University and a master's degree in public health with a focus on hospital and clinical administration from the University of California at Berkeley. Prior to Hackley Community Care, she served as the executive director of Marian Prenatal Project in San Francisco, California, where she was responsible for prenatal care programming for the counties of San Francisco, Marion, and Oakland County, California. She was the deputy director of Muskegon Public Health, where she was responsible for the administration of public health programming, and the director of primary care services for Hackley Health in Muskegon, overseeing a primary care network of 45 physicians and 300 employees. While in these positions, she developed and managed private, state, and national grants, negotiated physician and compensation contracts, increased annual revenue with her new programming funding, instituted countywide county health assessments and evaluation tools. She supervised multidisciplinary teams, renegotiated commercial HMO contracts that increased revenue by 400%, and designed physician and mid-level leadership training. Linda is bilingual in both English and Spanish. She is a board member of the Muskegon Primary Care Association, the Muskegon Rotary Club, Healthcare Initiative, and the Muskegon County Health Network. She is also an active member of the Executive Committee for Community Coordinating Council of Muskegon and the Muskegon Shire, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Steering Council. She is a mother of 4 and has 2 grandchildren, and soon to be married and retired into the next chapter of her life. It is my honor to award Linda Juarez this prestigious award from the Muskegon Rotary Club. Love you.
Hello, Muskegon Rotarians. I am being videotaped by our infamous Mike Vogus to say my sincere and humble gratitude to Susan Crane for honoring me with the Paula Harris Fellow Plus. As you know, we all experienced not just this past year, but through our careers and our work in Muskegon community, incredible challenges. 2021 was maybe even took it up a notch or two. What I love and what I appreciate about a Paula Harris Fellow is it's not about an individual. It really is my blessing and gratitude to Muskegon community who steps up again and again, and Muskegon Rotarians in particular. You are an amazing group of people, and thank you from my heart.
This person has volunteered or worked in the Muskegon community for more than 30 years, beginning as a volunteer candy striper at General Hospital, a math tutor at Michigan for Area People, Muskegon Community College, a bookkeeper at Comerica Bank and Muskegon Museum of Art, an accountant at the County Wastewater Department and the airport, from finance director to deputy director, and now health officer, executive director at the health department in Muskegon, thereby doing an amazing job with COVID in our area. As her career transitioned into management, she expanded her community volunteer activities by serving on numerous nonprofit boards. A former advisor to Junior Achievement, a loaned executive to the United Way campaign volunteer for March of Dimes, a former president of the Urban League Board, Senior Resources Board, and Muskegon Rotary Club. She has also served as a former board treasurer of Girl Scouts and United Way and current volunteer treasurer of Harbor Hospice, Access Health, Muskegon Community Health Project, and Muskegon Community College. She holds degrees and certifications from Muskegon Community College, Grand Valley State University, the University of Michigan Flint, the University of Michigan Ann Arbor. She is married to Marvin and has 2 grown daughters, both graduates of UM Ann Arbor, with degrees in forensic accounting, actuarial science, and math, and a 13-year-old son who is an athlete and mathlete at Reese Puffer Middle School. I couldn't be happier to award Kathy Moore this prestigious award from Muskegon Rotary. Thank you.
Oh my, this is such an honor. Thank you so much to Susan and Orville Crane, an amazing couple that truly helps this community. I am absolutely thrilled and pleased to be a recipient of this Paul Harris Fellow, and I will do my best to live up to what it means and to continue to do everything I can do for this community and Rotary. So thank you so much, Rotary, for who you are and what you do, and Orville and Susan Crane.
Awesome. Well, Jenny Sprague, who is chair of our Paul Harris Fellow Committee, could not be here today, so I'm going to fill in for her, or at least attempt to do so. And so I'll give the spiel. We have long recognized Rotarians who contribute to the Rotary Foundation, the arm of Rotary International, which receives and disperses funds that support our cause of increasing world understanding and peace. Beginning a Paul Harris Fellow, however, or becoming a Paul Harris Fellow, however, is a milestone, not a destination. We ask those who become Paul Harris Fellows to continue supporting the Rotary Foundation, and we recognize them as multiple Paul Harris Fellows. With each additional $1,000 donation, a Paul Harris Fellow is presented with a pin with either a sapphire or a ruby, indicating the total level of their contributions. In our club, we have 28 members who are multiple Paul Harris Fellows. Today, we have the privilege of recognizing 2 of our club members who are being recognized for their continuing support of the ideals of Rotary Foundation. So Linda and Kathy, congratulations. You are being honored today as multiple Paul Harris Fellows, in special appreciation for your continued support of the work of the Rotary Foundation in so many ways, in your day jobs, in your volunteerism, how you help our community here and abroad. Each of you are receiving this honor as a gift, again, from Susan and Orville Crane. And unfortunately, I got a text a few minutes ago from Susan. Their Wi-Fi is down and her hotspot's not working. So unfortunately, they can't be here today, but they can check out the tape later. Therefore, on behalf of the president of Rotary International and the chair of the trustees for the Rotary Foundation, it gives me great pleasure to recognize Kathy Moore as a Paul Harris Fellow ×2 recipient. And Kathy, you'll receive 2 sapphires in appreciation for your support. And then Linda, congratulations. You will receive, you're a Paul Harris Fellow +1. So your lapel pin will include 1 sapphire. So again, congrats to Kathy and Linda, and also congrats to the Cranes for their significant gift. So applause, applause. Thanks so much. All right, and next we move on to a new member induction. And Nancy Crandall is going to provide the bio. Nancy.
I am, and somehow with all the confusion around our early COVID adaptations, we have a person who's been a member actually since May of last year, but who was never formally inducted. And she's here with us today, and I would like to introduce you all to Mary Trepo. And as you can see under her picture, it's spelled as though it's tripod, but it's French, so it's Trepo. I learned that the first time I met Mary. Mary was born in Jacksonville, Florida at the Naval Air Station, where her father was a fighter pilot. Ended up in Vestaburg, Michigan when she was about 5, and both of her parents became teachers. Her dad was a math teacher, her mother English and special ed. Mary and her brother grew up in Michigan, and after her bachelor's degree at Alma College and graduate school at Central Michigan, she moved to San Francisco by way of Phoenix. Her brother went to the Air Force Academy, is now a brigadier general in the Air Force. Mary has 10-year-old twins, Liam and Nick, who are the joys of her life. They were born in San Francisco, but the family moved back to Michigan to Traverse City a few years ago. She took a year off work and pulled the boys out of school to travel around the country in an RV. She was a precursor to the nomad land thing that's going on right now. After they got back from their adventures, she took her current position where she is the executive director of Michigan Surgical Associates. She currently lives in Whitehall with 4 chickens, 2 dogs, and a tortoise named Sheldon. She is also finishing her first year of studies for a doctoral degree in healthcare administration from Central Michigan, with an intended date of completion in spring of 2023. As you can see, Mary is very busy, quite accomplished, and we want to officially welcome her to Rotary.
Thank you, Nancy.
Applause, applause. Mary and fellow Rotarians and honored guests, the Rotary Club of Muskegon is privileged to induct you as a new member. And my apologies, I'll blame it on COVID. This should have been done several months ago. Mary, you are beginning
We've had a few
great
things
adventure.
going on.
You are beginning a great adventure in leadership, friendship, and service to community and humanity. The Rotary Club of Muskegon has accepted you as a person of good character and high ethical standards with a heart for service. Your sponsor has invited you to be a part of a worldwide organization dedicated to fostering service above self. It is through your own actions that you become a Rotarian. We encourage you to learn about Rotary by actively participating in the club, including attending meetings, social events, and service projects. It's my pleasure to, when I see you in person, to give you this pin by which your fellow Rotarians in the community will recognize you as a member. We ask that you wear it proudly. I would also like to challenge you to share the gift that has been given to you and invite another person with like qualities of character, reputation, and commitment to join our club within the next 3 months. The honor of becoming a Rotarian is only surpassed by sponsoring new members. Mary, do you accept this challenge?
I do.
Awesome. Thank you. Together as Rotarians, we work to enrich youth, ensure health, develop communities, and promote peace. Please join me in welcoming our newest Rotarian, Mary Trepo. I probably butchered your name, Mary, sorry. But again, welcome. We love having you. Again, apologies for taking so long. And but thanks so much for being a member.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. And without further ado, we're going to move on to our program. And Mike Vogus, please roll the tape.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Your favorite moderator, DJ Hilson here, prosecuting attorney in Muskegon County. And this afternoon, we've got a really great program for you, a conversation about the Michigan State University Extension and its value and importance, not only to the state, but more importantly to Muskegon County. It's my pleasure to welcome two experts in this, James Kelly as well as Tanya Pell. Welcome the two of you to this conversation. Thanks for being here this afternoon.
Happy to be here. Thanks.
Thanks, DJ.
As I typically like to do, I'm going to ask first and foremost that if each of you could introduce yourselves to our Rotarians and tell a little bit about not only your, I guess, a little bit of your history, but your role with MSU Extension. And so, Tanya, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, hi everyone. As DJ said, my name is Tanya Pell. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am the 4-H program coordinator for Muskegon County. I've been here for over 5 years now in this role for about 3.5. I studied history and women's studies at Central Michigan University for my undergrad, and I'm currently studying social innovation for my master's program at Grand Valley. I grew up in Fremont on my family's dairy farm and was a 4-H member for most of my childhood. So I really loved having this job for the past 5 years and really getting to give back to an organization that meant so much to me and my family growing up. I'm also the member of the Greater Muskegon JCI, and I've lived here in Muskegon for 3 years now. And I have, really just loved getting to know the community more and kind of diving into what makes Muskegon so wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you, Tanya. James, introduce yourself, please. It appears as we may have lost James due to a connection issue here. So hopefully we'll correct that. That'll get corrected and we'll give him an opportunity to introduce himself. I want to start with you, Tanya. Maybe we can focus in on your expertise in the 4-H world. You indicated that you grew up in 4-H. You surrounded yourself with that program, and now you're kind of a bigger role in that. So what is 4-H really all about for those that may not know?
Yeah, so 4-H at its core is a youth development program where youth learn life skills through participating in various programs and projects. So our members can learn about raising and showing animals, which many of them do. They can build up their STEAM skills, which is science, technology, engineering, art, and math. They can learn how to sew and bake and grow vegetables in community gardens, and really a lot more. So with the help of our adult 4-H volunteers who are pretty vital to our program, we are trying to teach the youth of today to become the leaders of tomorrow through those projects and through those programs that they participate in. So most of our Muskegon County 4-H members participate in animal science projects, and they do so by raising and showing livestock, horses, small animals such as dogs and cats. And we're really looking forward to being able to have many of them participate in the Muskegon County Fair again this year, which is a great way for them to show off their 4-H animal science projects. And one of our longest serving programs in 4-H is our 4-H Tech Wizards mentoring program. Here in Muskegon, we've had it for, I believe, about 9 years now. And it's during a normal year. We haven't really been able to do it with the pandemic and everything. But it's a weekly after-school mentoring program where adult or teen mentors are paired up with youth mentees, and they get to work on those STEAM projects that I mentioned earlier. And in the past, they've worked on like robotics projects, dissecting old technology, like projectors and old laptops. They've gone geocaching in our local parks and everything. And they've also even designed some video games and just board games in general. And with the pandemic, actually, the amount of programming that 4-H members here in the county and statewide can participate in has really only increased. We've been virtual since March of 2020 up until pretty much last week. And our 4-H staff across the state have really introduced programming around such a variety of topics and interests that I'm continuously amazed by what my colleagues and volunteers come up with. Some of the clubs that I know have existed statewide that I know some of our members over here have participated in are like a Lego building club, writing poetry, hiking, babysitting, and I actually led a Harry Potter book club that I started with a colleague in the fall and here in the spring as well. 4-H also organizes and plans events on the state, national, and international level. So 4-H is an international program. Many people might not know that. 4-H members can attend statewide events like 4-H Exploration Days, which is one of my absolute favorite events to participate in as a staff member. It's the largest pre-college program at MSU, and youth who participate are eligible for a pre-college scholarship at MSU. The youth get to stay at MSU for 3 days. They get to have a feel for college life while meeting 4-H members from across the state and participating in some really unique and fun learning opportunities. We don't get to do it this year, but it is virtual, and we are still allowing and accepting registrations for that. We also get to have national programs like Citizenship Washington Focus. Youth get to go to DC for a week. And we also, like I said, internationally, 4-H hosts international students in various study abroad programs. And we also do send 4-H members here in the United States out abroad. So we really do kind of a mix of everything, as I mentioned, at the local, state, the national, international level regarding youth positive youth development. So.
Wow. So what you're saying is it doesn't sound like you're very busy at all, and you probably need to get a second job, because I mean you listed off about, I don't know, 50 things, which is incredible, and great opportunities for our young people to really get involved. So that's fantastic. James, you're back. You're back from the virtual dead, and so we'll go back to you, and if you could maybe introduce yourself to the Rotarians here and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I would love to, and loving virtual life, I thought I'd give a demonstration of how to handle those technology challenges. But yeah, my name's James Kelly. I've been with MSU Extension for about 2.5 years now. I have the role of district director, so I actually have a 5-county region that I provide support to, and of course Muskegon is one of those. I have pretty strong connections in Muskegon. I first came across from Australia to the fine county of Muskegon many years ago through the YMCA, worked up at the YMCA camp, and then downtown at the Y, transitioned to Baker College for a while, and then up directing an extension site in Fremont for Baker College. So, but with MSU Extension, out and about in the various communities that I support, and my role really is to kind of be a part of community conversations, to see how MSU Extension services could be brought into the county, into the communities, to bring the resources of the university out, which of course is kind of the foundation of our land grant university title. Back in 1855, I'm not going to give you an extensive history lesson, but State of Michigan gave MSU some land, put together a university to make learning and knowledge more accessible to the Midwest. And with that came a responsibility to spread that knowledge and learning out into the community. So great to have Tanya on to talk about youth programming. And I am hoping to just share a little bit about other areas, perhaps areas that folks aren't as aware of within MSU Extension's services.
Well, let's talk about that. Maybe, you can kind of wrap that into, what MSU Extension is. I mean, obviously people know Michigan State University, but this is MSU Extension. So if you could expand on that, as well as the programming that are available to our older population.
Yep. So we have a presence in all 83 counties across the state of Michigan. And traditionally the folks know MSU Extension perhaps through our agricultural services or through 4-H. I'll be honest, I didn't know a lot about MSU Extension prior to starting my career with them a few years ago. But that network across the state really has allowed us to kind of respond to a lot of issues on a pretty effective rollout level, which has drawn us into other areas, which are, again, probably less traditional for folks. So we have 4 main areas that we focus on beyond the ag and agricultural business area. We do health and nutrition programming. So we have community nutrition instructors who are doing programming for school systems, working with seniors, food pantries, doing a lot of policy systems and environment work. And certainly within Muskegon County, we have a couple of folks who are working on those areas with different institutions. We have another institution called Community, Food, and Environment. And again, they have a really broad net that they cast related to community engagement, supporting local government. So we provide new commissioner school training for our new commissioners across the state. We do financial assistance as far as home ownership education, community development, land use planning. I could sit here and literally fill up the remaining 9 minutes with programs, which I won't do. And then Child and Youth Institute, which is what 4-H is part of, but they are also doing other programming related to social and emotional health, certainly active lifestyles and just supporting family developments from birth to 19. So it is a really broad list of programming, which allows us to really bring resources where there's a need. So I think that's the key message, DJ, that I was hoping to share today, is that we are only as helpful and successful as the community allows us to be. In that, my general appeal is that if you are struggling with a process or any issue within the community, I would challenge you to reach out to MSU Extension as a resource to see what we might be able to bring to the table in terms of the university resources. I've been challenged over the last 2.5 years on many occasions to provide resources, but just a range of topics. Some of them I know nothing about, but I was pleased to find that we had meaningful assistance that we could provide most folks. So I will share, we have nothing to do with the academic side of MSU. Don't ask us how to get your kids into MSU. Don't ask us about financial aid. We are the outreach part of MSU. And again, I think we're fortunate to have that role and really look for opportunities to serve in the community.
Excellent. I know we've got 8 minutes. I've got a couple more questions, but this one I know is a burning question for some of our Rotarians. Is MSU Extension available to those who may graduate from the University of Michigan? And is there a special process they have to go through in order to get those services because it's University of Michigan?
Special process and special pricing, of course, you know, for the added stress and strain. But no, we are accepting of all. And I'll use that great question, DJ, as a tee into the fact that we are very conscious of who we serve through our funding, which is federal, state, and county funding. We do have a responsibility to make sure we're actively serving all people across the community. So one of the things we really push people like Tanya is to be aware of what programming she's providing and what pockets are underserved. We look for parity on all different areas from race, age, religion. We want to make sure that everyone has equal access to our programs. That is really important to us, even those U of M folks.
I'm sorry, I had to ask that question. I can't even burn Gary Nealon on this because he's an MSU fan, and I think a graduate, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there's a lot of us around.
Yes. This is a question for both of you, and I'm going to start with you, Tanya. If there are members that really would like to get involved, whether it be volunteer or somehow provide some service or some help to 4-H, how can they do that?
Yeah, definitely. Great question. So first of all, we are always looking for adult volunteers. I will just put that caveat out there. You can't have a program without adult volunteers. There's a process to become a volunteer. So if any Rotarians would be interested in starting a 4-H club, starting a 4-H program, they have a great idea for something, reach out to me, we can get that started. But in general too, we just like partnering with organizations, businesses, and community groups to provide new programs and events. So like our 4-H Tech Wizards program that I mentioned, we partner with Mona Shores Middle School, the Muskegon Community College Fab Lab, and the elementary school up in Montague early to provide programming. That's those are our partners in that program. We've also recently partnered with the Greater Muskegon JCI group to provide a scavenger hunt this spring on St. Patrick's Day. And so many local businesses, especially downtown, donated prizes to that program. So really, it's just all about collaboration. We can't do all of the things that I mentioned without partnerships, without adult volunteers to help us. So I just really challenge anybody that is coming up with a new idea, a new program, a new event, and that we could potentially provide some partnership with, reach out, because I would love to chat. I'm all about teamwork and collaboration.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. James, kind of a similar question to you. I mean, are there opportunities for Rotarians to be a part of or assist or work with MSU Extension on the other side of the coin?
Yeah, I think the important part for us and for me specifically in my role is Just to keep us in mind, if you are forming a task force, a collaborative group that's looking at an issue, whether it's housing, broadband, increasing the yield of your dairy farm, early childhood education. I mean, again, the list is extensive, but if you're looking for additional resources, I would encourage you to reach out to me, and I would be thrilled to find additional avenues to provide support. We have a team that's based in Muskegon County, and we are in the health department physically. We have some space through the Muskegon County Health Department, which is excellent. That's a great partnership. We have an active presence, of course, on Facebook. So look up Muskegon County Facebook. They are posting a lot of our programs daily. There are new programs being highlighted, but not just for Muskegon County. Again, there are resources that we are bringing in from all across the state. A lot of virtual programming, as Tanya referenced, that I think you will find eye-opening, from beekeeping to nutrition to everything in between. So yeah, just keep us in mind to invite us to the table. That's kind of the main piece that any organization or leader within Muskegon County, that's how they should engage with MSU. Our former director had a wish that MSU Extension would be on the top 3 phone calls, the list of the top 3 people I might call any organization if they were struggling. We don't expect to be the first one on the list, but you know, we have this massive resource in the university that we need to bring out into the community. So put us to work.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent. We've got about 3 minutes left. Is there any recent efforts? I mean, obviously we've gone through this pandemic, and you know that's kind of shifted to how people had to deal with things. But anything during the pandemic or recently that you want to highlight that you were able to accomplish here in Muskegon County? Tanya, go ahead. You first.
Yeah, I can talk about, so I mentioned that we did a scavenger hunt with the Greater Muskegon JCI. We're actually doing another scavenger hunt with the Lakeshore Art Festival happening next month during the festival in June, and we're really excited for it. So I'll just put a plug out. You know, we are looking for prizes to give away to teams of any businesses or organizations would like to donate to that. That would be really great. I'm also leading a statewide nature journaling club that will last July through August and open to all youth. So again, follow us on Facebook to stay tuned for when that registration will be open, and it will be a great way for youth to be more mindful and engaged in nature this summer. And of course, the Muskegon County Fair is happening the last full week of July, and I'd really just want to encourage everyone to come on out and see the youth in our community showcase their 4-H projects. I believe the schedule of events should be on the fairgrounds website in the next month or so.
Fantastic. About 2 minutes, James. Any recent efforts or accomplishments here in Muskegon County you want to brag about?
You know, I think I'll just highlight the fact that we are in the middle of a hiring process that will allow us to provide a manager for the new farm facility on the MCC campus, the new food, agriculture, research, manufacturing incubator. So we're excited to kind of bring MSU resources to that project more formally through staffing. And the other piece I'll just highlight, perhaps that folks don't know about, is just some of our mental health programming that's developed over the past year or so. We offer training in mental health first aid, both for adults and youth. And that's obviously a huge concern following all the pandemic activity. Mindfulness training, anger management training, all kinds related to mental health. So I'll just use that, yeah, as an example of how we're continuing to kind of adapt our offerings based on where the needs are.
Fantastic. Well, Tanya and James, thank you so much for being a part of today's program and providing, I think, some valuable information as to the importance and the reach that MSU Extension has, not only with our young people, which is extremely important, but also to anybody really in Muskegon County. The list seems endless as to where MSU Extension could be a valuable resource. So I would highly recommend that if you are thinking about or doing something or getting involved in some sort of effort, that don't forget about MSU Extension. Last 20 seconds, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, my phone number is 231-724-4739.
There you have it.
Let's give a round of applause to our presenters. And we do have, thanks so much for the program. We do have Tanya and James on for a brief Q&A, and Chris Colley, co-chair of the program committee. I believe you're going to take over that.
I am. So thank you so much for joining us, Tanya, as well as James. We're so glad to have you with us. It's almost overwhelming, the list of all of the programs and services that you have. James, what's the hidden gem that you think people really ought to know about? Like, you don't know we do this and you should totally come and see us.
Great question, and an impossible question. There's not one gem. As I mentioned in the video, I think just having an understanding of the resources that the university offers. So, it is a diverse range of programs and services. I could send each of you a 9-page summary of programs and services we could bring into Muskegon County. So again, it was a sincere ask in the video that if you are struggling with some kind of initiative or looking for some extra resources, reach out to me. So the gem is the fact that we are wanting to help. There's a gem. And we want to be engaged and we want to be active. And if there's an unmet need, you should point that out to us to see what we can do to help that.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. Tanya, you talked about this big pivot that you've had to switch over the pandemic in terms of engaging, especially youth in through digital means and virtual. What did you learn about the digital divide?
Oh, we learned a lot. Unfortunately, there are many youth in Muskegon County, but also just statewide, that don't have reliable access to Wi-Fi and computers. And I will say that that is something that Michigan 4-H and MSU Extension is trying to address, because I do think that moving forward, we are going to do more hybrid programming, and because we have found that we can be really successful virtually. There have been many success stories, so don't get me wrong on that. But we have realized that it is also an accessibility issue that we need to address and figure out how we can work with our communities and work with our state, local, federal government partners to really try to address that divide, because it is really an issue for youth and for our adult volunteers as well.
If anyone has questions for James or Tanya, please feel free to put those in the chat and I would be happy to ask those and pitch those. We'll also have some time in a chat room afterwards if you would like to join further. Tanya, I want to join the Harry Potter book club. So I just wanted to make sure I told you that.
Yes. It was a blast.
When we look at inclusion, and obviously I know that's something that you're passionate about as an individual and a professional. Sometimes I think that 4-H is perceived to be a very rural program, but I know that you have, and 4-H especially has done a lot to really look at that model as being inclusive into all parts of the community. Tell me a little bit about, like, for example, Tech Wizards. I know that program so well.
Yes,
my mother used to help to organize that program as an AmeriCorps member. You need engineers as volunteers. So I know that sometimes you need those specialized talents to help bring those programs that are so important in order to create that diversity that's necessary. Anything you want to speak to on that?
Yeah, no, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion is at the heart of everything that I do in this role. Like James mentioned in our presentation, making sure that everybody is welcome and affirmed in our programs is extremely important. And in order to do that, we also do need volunteers, like you mentioned, that have come from a wide variety of backgrounds. So our Tech Wizards program right now, when we are able to do a little bit more face-to-face programming, is housed actually at the Fab Lab in downtown. And so I know that utilizing the people, that the community members that use the Fab Lab for their own projects has been a way that we're trying to recruit new volunteers to help the youth with the projects that are more STEAM focused to work on. So yeah, in DEI, I can gladly talk about how we're addressing all kinds of DEI topics, but in regards to that too, like just the variety of background and knowledge is so important, because I'm sure as you heard, our projects are not just animal science based. It is really whatever youth want to learn about. We need to find adult volunteers that will help them learn about those projects that they're interested in. So yeah, engineers, farmers, it doesn't really matter to me as long as you have a passion for giving back and working with youth. So.
That's great. And remind us what the 4 H's stand for in
saw
the
that.
lovely four-leaf clover.
Yes, so it's heart, hands, okay, sorry, I have to always, it's heart, hands, health, and head.
Perfect.
Yep, the whole picture, the whole holistic approach of youth development, I'd like to think.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much to both of you for being with us today and just sharing all the great work that is happening in our area. We really appreciate you coming forward, and we hope that you get some volunteers out of it as well.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. All right, let's give another round of applause to Tanya and James. Thanks so much. Man, I'm impressed. I thought I knew your services, but I really didn't. You really provide some awesome services there. So thanks so much. Couple of things. Arn Bozard asked me to give a brief update about in-person meetings. So we're a bit at the mercy of Delta. We are waiting for a menu and pricing. We do have the Ethernet to be able to handle hybrid meetings. I am so hopeful that at least the last meeting in June, when I get to pass the gavel to President-elect Jason, we can do that in person. However, Delta is also dealing with a staffing issue, as are many businesses, especially in restaurants and hospitality. So having said all that, it might be July. So, but your board is moving forward as quickly as possible to get back to in-person meetings. So join our breakout rooms today if you're able. Congrats again to Linda and Kathy. You guys rock. And then officially welcome Mary Trepo. I'm working on the name. I think I got that right. But officially welcome, Mary. Also want to thank our guest, Kendall Smith, for joining us. Next week's program, Wonderland Distillery, Burl and Sprigg, Pigeon Hill Brewery, and Rake Beer Project. I really think we should move the meeting time to 5 p.m. So, you know, but anyway, look forward to that. That should be a great program to hear from those businesses. And with that, we are going to recite the four-way test. So please unmute and repeat with me of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Awesome. Have a great week, everybody.